All right there. Hello, guys. Sorry, the wait there was a little bit longer than I wanted. I just, man, I was going to be streaming an hour ago, but I got really hungry, put some fish on, and I thought it was going to be like, it wasn't going to take very long, but it took me like an hour to cook it to the point where it was nice and crispy and good. So, it was like breaded fish. So, it was the outside I wanted to be crispy. Yeah, anyway, hello, I'm here now. I was just making some coffee and stuff, and we can get going. Yeah, just a small selection of things here today. Probably a good amount of back and forth. And we'll just see where it goes. I just put up, for anyone on Wood Potatoes 2, I just put up the break bar video. Now that one, I should tweet that I'm live. Let me do that real quick. I'm a little bit insecure about the break bar one, for what it's worth. Let's see. Okay. And let me tell people in Discord as well. I've been spamming ats at people on the Discord when I go live, but I'm wondering if like doing that every day is going to annoy them. So I don't know whether that's actually a smart idea or what. We'll see. Oh man, do you know what? I've learned a little bit more about Twitch and like these quick buttons. I'm wondering if I can set up a quick button that just prints something in chat at will. Can I do that instead of the whole exclamation mark command thing? Can I just click a button and it will like put the Discord link on, or for example, if I'm using like the Mount Wheel Radial UI and people ask, can I just click the button and it will print, oh, here's the thing, and then it will post the video? Can I do stuff like that? That might be quite good. I just watched the break bar video. It says Kubota inversion. I quit Guild Wars 2 about a year ago to play other games, but I still watch your content. All the time I played Guild Wars 2, I had no idea that's how break bars worked. Very useful. Really? You had no idea? I was quite interested. The question I actually picked to like sponsor that whole thing was someone who said they've been playing for years and they were still struggling or whatever. Like, it's very, very simple to me. It's like if the effect incapacitates in any way, then it will damage a brake bar. I think what needs to happen is people just need to understand why a brake bar's there. As soon as you understand why a brake bar's there, the whole system like immediately makes sense. What the brake bar is it is immunity to constant CC. It's immunity to blind. It's immunity to chill. So what you should actually ask yourself in your mind is, when I apply this, will the devs have made him immune to this? And if you think the answer is yes, then it's going to be doing brake bar damage. Brake bar damage is your compensation for the fact that all that rich other shit in the combat system is gone, right? That's what a brake bar is. And you know, this little way of looking at it, I kind of wanted to put in the video, but I thought it was getting too long. It's kind of amazing. I've had a ton of comments already. The video's only just gone up, and I've had a bunch of comments of people saying, WP, this is too long. It needs to be a 2-minute video. Wow, have you talked so much about this? It's like, what? I've just before this stream went live, I just went and put a nice little message in there, and I've just said, look, just because I'm now like doing some videos like that are aiming at a newer audience, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to be doing like this clickbaity, junky, fast food bullshit garbage that is already all over YouTube, where it's like little 2-minute videos everywhere. Like, what are you talking about? It's still me. I still want to talk. I still want to have a conversational style. I still want to have a candid demeanor. I still want to be able to like explore the topic in depth. Like, but some people, here's the other thing people think. People think that just because they're new players, they're babies. Like, I've got to give a little bit of a reminder to people. Just because you're new, it doesn't mean you're like addled. Do you know what I mean? It's okay if like every minute little bit of trivia isn't in the video. They're not gonna have a panic attack and fall over. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't invalidate what's going on. It's quite interesting that it's like there's no winning. It's like it has to be like a 60-minute conversation that has to mention inconsistent break bar. You can't recommend dungeons, somebody said, because break bars are weird sometimes in there, which is like nonsense. That's trivia. That's not actually valid information. That's trivia. And it's cool to know the trivia. It's cool to know that like Guardian wards and lines, if they cross over them, will do a little bit of extra damage or whatever. I get it. I get that there's like extra little trivia. But it's like, you can't have a 5-minute video that bombs out every single bit of trivia and has all the information clear. It doesn't exist. And it's like, I genuinely feel like I've got like 40% of the people asking for a 2-minute video and 40% asking for like every bit of trivia, or like, so I don't know. I'm probably obsessing over it too much. I think I hit a good balance. I think it's a good conversational quarter of an hour piece. I mean, it's 18 minutes technically, but intro and outro you cut away, right? People are going to skip forwards a bit. A quarter of an hour, you'll know exactly what's going on. I think it does all right. It gets a good range of examples in there. So I'm pretty happy with that. You watched a video after the stream, never watched the stream before, but you watched most of the videos. Well, congratulations. Your name's Guild Wars 2 today, eh? That suggests to me that you might be trying content creation yourself. Man, there's a lot of messages here. I've been playing more 14 lately. I put Guild Wars 2 on the back burner a bit over the last year or so, and it's fascinating to me how incredibly elitist the Guild Wars 2 community feels to me now. Yeah, I've noticed that. I have noticed that Final Fantasy XIV community, they're so nice. They're really sweet people. They're enthusiastic people. They're appreciative people. They're like conversational people. It is really weird. It is very, very strange. And for all the years that I've like followed Guild Wars 2, I don't know. It might be that I'm just being anecdotal and that I need to disregard my own observations because they're insignificant and irrelevant. Like, it might just be that. But it is weird. Like, when I log into Final Fantasy and I do a daily roulette or whatever, like, I'll have like I'll be tanking or something, and a healer will come up and he'll say, "Oh, I've never done this." And we'll wipe, and they'll say, "Ooh, I don't know what happened there." And then we'll just type and say, yeah, no, you just don't do this or don't do that. And they say, "Oh, thanks." They're just nice. It's very weird. I don't have those experiences in Guild Wars, really. But people are just really nice. I mean, they are nice, but it's kind of like you have to get into a certain guild, or you have to, like... I don't know. I think it's just that the community's not been growing. That's all it is, I think. I think it's because it doesn't have fresh blood. It doesn't have new people around, so that enthusiastic, wide-eyed, like, adventurous spirit isn't there, you know? Like, I think Guild Wars 2 was like that for many years, probably up until about 2014-15. If you were hanging out in Lion's Arch, you know, there was a lot of that kind of conversational chat and stuff. It doesn't really exist anymore in the game, in the places that I see. I almost want to say that Heart of the Mist gets it a little bit, but the truth is that it's just, like, insane trolls in Heart of the Mist that like just ramble on about American politics and just try to be provocateurs. Like, that is legitimately what... If Heart of the Mist chat is ever anything interesting, it's that. It's just people reacting to people trolling like that. And they're playing around. I do view that as like a playful kind of thing, but it's like, it's not really the same, is it? That's the only place where I get even a slight sense of like community back and forth like the old days. In the whole game, Heart of the Mist, when people are just trolling around. That's it. PvP chat in general? No, when it's in a game, it's people vomiting onto their keyboards about nonsense. But Heart of the Mist has that kind of laid back, almost like stupid, sort of goofy. Are they trolling? Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. They're fucking about. So yeah. Also, by the way, I had a comment right up at the top about New World. WP, New World and its closed beta. Yeah, I hear they have 700,000 views right now on it. Do you remember when I was the premier content creator for New World? Like, no one had videos on it except me, and I was raking in hundreds of thousands on them? Well, I'm just not too convinced by the game. I mean, it will be a crying shame now if I go back and I look at that game and I realise I love it, and I'll think, oh my god, I squandered a hell of an opportunity on that one. But we'll see. Do I have any plans to do more coverage on that game? Not right now. I'll see what it looks like. Am I a VTuber now? No, I'm not. We can log in. Oh, do I have a whisper there? WP, what's your thoughts on the theory that the spear image that got released is actually an arcane spear elementalist? It's a similar purple colour to the arcane tree, no? Well, we talked about that a lot on End of Dragons Daily. I'm not in the Ellie camp, personally. I even did a whole poll about it, and I'm not really in the Ellie camp. You're downloading it now. You hope it's better than the first two alphas. I mean, I think that New World's buzz right now today is really just... a sign of how much the MMO scene is desperate for something new to come out, you know. I think that's really what it is in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of power in the Guild Wars 3 idea. I really, really, really do. Suddenly people are talking about it less, but to be honest, I actually had a really, really powerful message on YouTube the other day of someone really tried to analyze how they felt about the game and what would bring them back to the game and stuff, and they eventually said, no, I think it has to be a Guild Wars 3 for me at this point. Do I have my Revenant build anywhere? What, the open wild quality of life one that I said about the marionette? Not hosted right now, but I'm going to put it into Gen 2 of the build series, which I'm kind of working on at the moment. Why am I healing with Lightning Whip? What is this? Is it a leeching sigil that I'm looking at? What is it? No, I don't even have a sigil on there. I don't know what it is. It might be doubled and it's actually representing barrier. Oh, it's the heal signet. Wait, wouldn't that just say Signet of Restoration, though? No, it definitely is. 202. 202. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. That's coded in a very weird way then, isn't it? It pairs the healing to the ability that triggered the healing. The signet itself doesn't actually heal you. That's quite curious. By the way, I gotta say, I was fishing around, shopping around for a good concept for open world Ellie. And I think I found one for the Gen 2 series. Celestial. Is this the variant? Yeah, Celestial with Earth and Fire. This shit's bonkers, guys. This is what I've currently settled on. I'm not using the Elementals, which is tricky. Just because I like Aftershock so much. And Signet of Fire is really good. I could maybe sub out Signet of Fire. This is so useful. Feel the burn. I don't know. Obviously, Aftershock's really, really fun with Strength of Stone because it stacks fuck tons of bleeds. Look at that. That means Aftershock is going to proc 5k damage on someone over 15 seconds, which is a long time for open world. I get it, but still. Yeah, this is just such a sturdy variant. It's insane. Really sturdy, and the pressure that you get out of it feels really good. It feels like kind of... like exactly what you'd want from an Ellie build in terms of like all the attunements feel like they have value and they feel like they're doing something. Don't pay attention to how long it took to kill that Bracer. He's immune to all damage except breakbar damage, which you'd see on the video I just put up. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this variant. Leaping Slice. So this might be what you see. It might be Ellie. Also, I've rounded out what I believe in for my Guardian build. Like, Lightning Orb still feels good. Like, I feel basically invulnerable on this setup. But it's definitely enough for all story content ArenaNet will ever put in. Basically, the Selly buff is just crazy. Like, I found Celestial Firebrand to be pretty good too. I'm not actually advocating it in the end. But it's similar for like, all the same reasons that Ellie is, really. WP's Guild Wars 2 Mystery Series is some of the best Guild Wars 2 lore info. Yeah, I've got... Every day lately, I've been thinking to myself, I want to do a Mysteries episode on the Mysterious Stranger. And then by the end of the day, I haven't done it because I've prioritized something else instead. Which feels pretty bad, but there you have it. Yeah, this isn't actually a Bane Signet build. I prefer the other mantra. So this build's an interesting one because... it's not shield either. I just swapped that on because of my what was I using? It wasn't focus that I was using, was it? Oh, I think it was focus. I think it was focus. Telt proc into Permeating Wrath with the 4. Let me just customize it here. Wait. What was I doing on the left? Oh yeah, no, I am running Selly. Hold on, what am I doing? Oh yeah, Selly trinkets, Selly weapons. And dire armor. Yeah, this build, basically all I've tried to do is get a bunch of quality of life on there while having 100% burn duration. I'm not actually 100% burn duration. I'm like a fraction of a percent below. Yeah, we're 1.2% below, which you could get with infusions if you really wanted. But yeah, you know, this build could be a lot stronger. But it's a balance for me of like play style and fluidity and how much I enjoy playing it. And if you slam on too many mantras and too much fucking button pressing, I'm not gonna have fun anymore. I like hitting the heal mantra. I like hitting the weakness blind mantra. That's about as far as I'll go. And then obviously this here is just for a stun break. Honestly, I would rather run the Signet. The Signet passive heals are really good for most open world random shit. But you get way more quality of life on the mantra. And you really get to play with the Firebrand feel. So yeah, this is really good. Very solid. Very tanky. Decent burst. Reasonable overtime damage. All in a single solo target environment. But the second you can AoE shit, you explode. Because the trait lines I've chosen... Where can I show AoEing stuff? Maybe some of the bugs down here? Because I did actually check on MetaBattle. They have a Steli Firebrand on there, but they're recommending completely different specialization lines. I think Zeal is the Zeal is the king line for open world, mainly because if you get in any kind of AoE scenario, this is 25 might for you. I mean, you can't complain with that. It's instant 25 fucking might. You can't complain with that on your own. This used to not have an ICD, which was really good as well. So while you have Fury, you afflict vulnerability. I'm running both Sword and Axe, which are both Fury symbols, so you have plenty of it. The thing is, I think actually just getting 200 power is better. 200 Condi damage is power. So it's kind of like, 10% all damage or 200. I mean, maybe the vulnerability is better. I don't know on this one. And then just Symbolic Avenger I'm picking here, because I'm not actually using the Sword anymore. I once upon a time cared about the Sword in PvE. And then just Permeating Wrath. Basically, a lot of other people like Amplified Wrath in PvE. I actually played an Amplified Wrath in PvP build recently. But after sort of fucking about with it at different fight scales and stuff, I prefer the Zeal Virtues combo over anything else. I'm still wondering about this. Oh yeah, and the real tech, the most fun thing that you should all be doing, on Firebrand for open world, without a shadow of a doubt, is put a Celerity Sigil on your axe. It's just so good. You got to remember, as a Firebrand, quickness is worth 250 condition damage and 250 power and 2,500 health. Quickness is mental. It's so good. So you put Celerity on there. You don't need the Axe trait, just Axe 3, and voila, you've got yourself some quickness. Your mantras give you some quickness. Dip into a tome, you've got quickness. Look at all this quickness. This is just all the stats you want, right? And you got like a lot of animations and things to flow through. So like, yeah, that Celerity Sigil, lots of fun, and it comes up fairly regularly too. So yeah, I don't know. This is going to be my Gen 2 variation. I think my Gen 1 variation was a power version, and I was in a big debate with myself. Even back then, do I want to do Condi or do I want to do power? Because they were very, very, very close. And power just about pipped it for me. I spent like hours messing about. Oh, by the way, and if you have the axe underneath your tome, you can get it from, say, like a heated rebuke or a taunt on the F3 as well. Yeah, I was really close to doing a Condi build last time. I was so goddamn close. And I'm definitely doing it this time. Starlord says, you're going to upload your Let's Play from Star Wars yesterday. I can't find it. Yeah, I did. It was on Wood and Potatoes 2 for a second, but I have a cunning idea about exporting, which I want to try out. So, I thought of it while I was on my laptop in bed last night, right before I went to sleep. So, I quickly pulled it in case this other export things work, but I want to see how I can basically chunk it out. And I'll export it from Twitch. It's not visible on Twitch right now, but because I'm basically messing around with all the Twitch settings. Something I've never done is to unpublish. But yeah, it's there. I will be exporting it. You'll see it. I was actually going to do it before this stream. I'll do it afterwards. I mean, power versus Condi is solved with Selly a bit. Yeah, and Celestial just, now that it's got concentration and expertise on there, it's just crazy. It's like, think about it. Think about all that concentration going on that quickness and on your might and whatever else you want, you know? It's just so good. And F2 feels really good. Same as the Ellie thing I mentioned a second ago. Tome of Resolve feels pretty good. It was a huge buff. That Selly buff was a huge, huge buff. And you'll notice in my sort of new player guide thingy, I recommended Marauder, Trailblazer, and Selly. Those, to me, those are the open world sets. And, you know, one's Condi leaning, one's power leaning, one's the middle. And Selly made it on there. Selly, because it actually feels really so potent now. So, yeah, I'm kind of in the process now of just figuring out what I want to recommend in terms... Why are my frames so low? Let's run DirectX 12. I'm not enjoying these low-ass frames. We're on a new PC, for God's sake. I don't have any rendering going on or anything. I'm only streaming. Let's run DirectX 12. I don't like this constant, like, lagginess. It's weird. It always stresses me out a lot when I'm streaming as well, because it's this little thing that's just constantly wriggling away in the back of my head, like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So annoying. Give me a second. See if DirectX 12 handles itself better. You should try DirectX Vulkan too, see if you get better performance. Are those, is that new developments going on there, or is that or is that what I saw before with the Select Renderer up add-on, which is what I was using before? Welcome, welcome, Rocker. I was just talking about Condi Firebrand, which, if I remember rightly, on my last build series, you of all people actually were saying you preferred the Condi variant. But I said no, I prefer the power one. But by this point, I'm swinging the other way for Gen 2. Yeah, look how much better this feels. Oh god, ArenaNet. This DirectX 11 update is exciting me so much. I really hope they look at the shaders. And like, do you know what the biggest graphical thing that the studio needs to fix? Just the one biggest thing. It's the fucking white flash as you hit a target. Please just get rid of the white flash. That's all I really care about. I think the game will look so much cleaner in combat if you do that. The recent Breakbar video has me fighting the Wyverns in the Desert Borderlands. I'll show you guys. Just because as I was capturing that footage today, I was thinking, man, look at this. This is what DirectX 11 needs to fix. I'm probably decaying now. I spent so long just standing around at those Wyverns. Please spit post-processing. Yeah, Kerry, exactly. They should do that too. And have the white flash as an option. I mean, clearly someone at the studio thought it was a good idea at some point. But look, I mean, if you already have the mouse over outliner, like the green outline or the blue outline or the red outline, if that's already there, you don't need him to fully light up. Do you know what I mean? You already have the nameplate popping in. You already have the health bar popping up. You don't need the full white flash. Let's do away with that. That and the post-processing outlines upset you so much? Yeah, man. I mean, Bloom is the big one as well, but remember, if you're running Guild Wars 2 Hook, it can disable Bloom for you. And literally just running Guild Wars 2 Hook with no filtering on at all. You don't do anything, but just put Guild Wars 2 Hook on and have post-processing to max and stuff, alter your game settings. It will look better than anything else, just on its own, because you'll get the benefits of full post-processing, but no Bloom. Right, which is, so you'll get like all the tinting and stuff, which is a combo ArenaNet doesn't give you. It's mental. It's such a shame that Grember didn't do more with the project. If he just had a thing where we could just checkbox anything and everything. I don't know. It's not about us in the community. It's about ArenaNet, really. They got to do it. So yeah, these elite Wyverns. Look at this. As we fight, this guy's kind of in a shadow. I don't have enough clones up to break that. We'll break the next one. I could magic, but maybe I did actually. I probably could have got that with the magic bullet, and eventually we did get the stuff up. It's fine. But yeah, as you watch as I'm fighting this guy, you'll be like, oh yeah, this Wyvern looks really cool. And then there's just the white flashes everywhere. Like, look at his wings right now. Oh shit. I spent too long mousing over the wings. I didn't consider the fact he was throwing an animation at me. Look at this. And this happens with so many of the bosses. It's so, like, inconsistent as well. I don't actually know what it is triggering it. Is it Condi's triggering it? I genuinely don't know. This is good. He's wing buffeting, but we're behind him. He'll do his next break bar afterwards. But, like, this happens to everything. And, yeah. When I play Final Fantasy, it's such a treat because I can't see any of this shit. It just looks nice and clean. That should be enough. Dude, it wasn't enough. I'll tell you why it wasn't enough. Because the clones that were gonna divert got cleaved down by the fire over there. What I should do is stand right on him so that any clones being generated by the Signet or by dodge rolls... Oh, also, did I not Chaos Storm him? I'll like right on him. This might actually be a little bit challenging here. Because this animation to dodge is going to move me into the fucking fire. It's okay, we have a safe spot. I don't want to be in front of that. He's probably going to die before we get to try this again. Let's wade through the fire here just so that we're nice and close. I don't have Chaos Storm again. Oh, are you fucking serious? Dude. Oh, I could have doubled up as well. Does he not try to do it when he's low? Alright. This is going to be rough. No, there you go. Didn't need to Signet at all. And down it goes. So, yeah, anyway, these guys are cool, man. It's just the flash. The flash needs to go away. Let's go back to our Guardian here. Right, on today's stream, I don't really have a great plan. What I kind of wanted, guys, does anyone know a written resource that is contemporary that talks about raid compositions? Okay, so like obviously, so I haven't really raided for like a year and a half, 2, really. And what I'm thinking might be nice to have as a resource is, and first of all, just to read because I'm out of the loop. What the general mindset is versus what's 10, what's 5. Like I don't know what the absolute unquestionable building blocks are, right? Like so, obviously you want quickness for 10 men, you want alacrity for 10 men. Is it questionable to have banners for 10 men, right? Is it questionable, like how much do people, like what building blocks are people very confident each raid composition needs? Are we in a 2 healer world at the moment? Are we in a 1 healer world? Like basically just like those big overarching principles of a satisfying raid composition, a 10-man composition, I think might be really nice to list out somewhere, and definitely nice for me to read just to catch up so that I know 100%. So that on these upcoming Guild Wars 2 streams, I do really want to raid, and what I'd like to do on them is you know, is be able to say, okay, guys, who's our quickness supply? Because and I know that what I want something is kind of balance resistant. That's the big thing that I would like. I don't want to produce or talk about resources that get invalidated just as time goes by. Oh my god, we don't have any audio on. I don't want any resources that just kind of go away because, oh, this used to matter. And it's very bound to that, though, you know? So I don't know whether what I'm asking for is even possible, really. So I don't know. I don't know what I think. But getting a bit of a lay of the environment would be nice. I can leak you that CZOK Alapic is working on an amazing tool for raid comps, but it's not quite done yet. What's the story? Can you give me more you said leak. I mean, what's the story? Yeah, I love it. I shouldn't have the Chocobo on this character. I've got the Chocobo on way too many characters. I also have I need to reskin some of this crap. This is not skinned in any way that matters, just so you guys know. This is also not Ascended armor, it's exotic armor. It could be the legendary. Yeah, it is the legendary chest. But again, the stat difference is tiny. By the way, thanks for sharing the break bar video. It always seems to be one of those things I try to explain to new people and they're like, huh. Well, I hope it's useful. I'm watching that one very closely. Because what I've actually done now is I've done 3 of those. Why isn't his health bar appearing? I'm definitely in combat with him. I've done... Sorry, I gave myself the hiccups there. Did you guys hear that? 3 videos in a row now that I've done. So if you look at my might, we're at 25 might. Like, you only really need 2 targets. 2 targets will put you to like 19, high 20s or something. If you can get 3 targets, and obviously you have 2 different mechanisms of balling them up. We're in an event here as well, so. And you'll just proc Permeating Wrath so fast. So, and I kind of like this gameplay. Like, for example, that's the big tanky guy. So I genuinely want to pull him over to these guys so that he would LOS in and they would all die. But here, see how we're a little bit low? So you'll actually see that there's some value in F2. It will pop us up a bit more. See how many cruel rounds.
Wasn't fast enough.
You'll see that, like, our Hill Mantra feels a lot more potent just because of the Celestial.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
I don't really want to waste that whole animation just on one guy. Man, do you know what? Completely unrelated, but End of Dragons. I seriously hope that in End of Dragons they figure out combat music a little bit more. HOT, they hit a really good balance. KOF, they did not, man. It's just too epic, too loud, it's too much all the time. This actually feels really weak right now.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
But mate, it might just be that this is a much harder event than I remember. See, the thing we lose... I need to fix that notification, holy shit. The thing with not running Radiance is we don't get to refresh F1 super regularly. So like in a situation like this, I would kind of like to be in F1 again. By the way, what is our job right now? Is it still kill the little things, or can we kill just the big guy and be done? I'm actually going to put Reflect up here because I don't know how much of the cleave we're taking is because of projectiles. Looks like some of it was. So there you go. I don't know if he's standing next to anyone. I also need to remember if it's worth using the 5. Come on, place it. I love these guys. There's got to be a strike mission with a Forge Rampager. These things just look so cool.
Our village and temple are safe again.
Right. Wow, we nearly did the whole heart from that one event. Yeah, so what do we think? Thank you very much for all those subs there. Omega Flames with the 5 gifts. That's really lovely of you. Thank you so much, dude. Good, congratulations to everyone who got lucky there. That's very nice of you.
Join the Spud Club
on the basis, but what you'd want everywhere is obviously 25 might, fury, alacrity, quickness, vigor, and swiftness are also great, but not as essential. See, I wouldn't say vigor and swiftness are great, but not essential. I would say regen and prot are great, but not as essential. Regen and prot make a huge difference. Yeah, it's basically just a game of boon up time, right? So
ley energy are coming from all over. Are you going to help?
You're a big believer in Litany of Wrath? Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stats. Oh, wait, hold on. Litany of Wrath. Why do I know that but not know that? What trait is Litany of Wrath? I know, why, that's in my brain, but it's not in my brain. Why do I know the word Litany of Wrath? Oh, Litany's not, oh, it's the heal. It's the Medi heal, right. Yeah, I don't know. This might be better now that we have a higher, like, cap here. Let's see how this feels in PvE. I'll give it a shot. Why not? Less button mashing too. Sorry, I thought you meant Feel My Ref for a second because I thought we were talking about raid compositions. And I was thinking, is that 10 man? So I was going to look at it. But in a solo environment, this would be good as well because quickness and all the quickness stats. Let's go up to the flame gen. Like, I'm not entirely... I'm still... I don't know. I'm like a 8 out of 10 on this build. And I'm like a 6 out of 10 on the Soul Beast build. Which does mean that I'm happy to do videos on both of them. But I feel like I want to push them a bit further. It's not life steal, it's just converts damage that you do into healing. The problem here is I kind of want to pop an early one for early quickness. Also, we lose the Aegis proc, which would come from the start with speed thing. So, I mean, in theory, then you do this. I don't know. The Longbow Dragon Hunter any good? Yeah, Dragon Hunter's great in PvE. Is that what I recommended before? I think I recommended Manchas just because there's so much quality of life last time. I mean, you could do a whole Monk's Focus thing if you're doing Litany of Wrath. I feel like we do lose some synergy. Like, it's the cooldown is too long to pop one Tonley at the start. And it's too short. It's just too long, and I don't know. Also, like, oh, it doesn't give you Fury. Oh, the trait makes Medis give Fury, so that's what that's all about. So anyway, I'll play around with that a bit in the future, I think. Did Rocker explain what this tool is? Depends on the boss. You talked at length about bad vigor uptime, messing up our Slothazor run yesterday. Good point. Yeah, I guess sometimes. Well, Slothazor's... I can't remember anymore, but Slothazor's got a lot of condies. If weakness is one of the condies, then weakness is reducing your endurance generation, and then, yeah, it's not just a game of vigor, but it's a game of cleanse. I can't remember if weakness is a big part there, though. I was actually gonna character select there, but if this guy wants to roll. Oh, wow, Cossage has some trivia for me. Well, much of Path of Fire music was composed by contracted composers who were used to Call of Duty, etc. Really? So they didn't... Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, and I mean, it does work in certain places, but it's too overpowering otherwise. What would be the one thing that you want most from the End of Dragons live stream that is somehow 1 week away? One thing that I want? I can only pick one thing. I can't answer that. I can, however, do a list for you. I don't know. We'll do a list and then we'll decide what's on top. What was I going to show you guys? What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to get on my engineer, who's going to go do some Tengu stuff. Also, I need to buy a thing before reset. What is it? It's an hour away at least. Maybe it's 2 hours. I don't know. Okay, so I think... Where are you, Angry Birds? There you are. Okay. Okay, do you guys see that already or not? You guys should see that, right? You see the word test? Yeah, you can see it. Okay. 1 free living world. That's pretty goddamn high on my list. No more fucking gem gates. Just unlock it all. Just unlock it all. This is it's such a night. I really have realized this week, getting into Guild Wars 2, like the whole recommending that people skip to the expansions, and then people saying no, you need to make them get the gems and shit. Like, it's nuts. Please make this free at this point. I will say, all right, just on that little topic there, I wouldn't buy them. Knowing what I know now, as someone who's played the game this long, are the patches for like Dry Top and Silver Waste in Season 2 worth it when you already have the map anyway? Are they worth it? No, they're not worth it. Absolutely not. It's not worth it. There's like, so then we get into a world where it's like, oh, the Bit of Frost Frontier release is worth it. So like, then you have to like specifically explain why certain ones have like power crept economies, or like, oh, make sure you get Lake Doric so you've got the Signet of Agony. Like, this is insane. It's insane. Free living world. I don't have to deal with that shit when I go to Final Fantasy. I don't know. How much money do you think they're earning from that as well? Is that the backbone of the economy? Would the layoffs a bit? Would we have seen 50 more people get laid off if they weren't selling Living World? Like, what is the story there? Are they actually earning? I don't know. Free Living World. Tengu playable, I think, would be massive, and it's not because, ooh, they're just pretty bird people. I mean, it's partly that, but the idea, specifically. A new leveling map. That's what matters about that. That's the game that we're really playing. Let's since this is I can see this stretching out before us. Oh, by the way, do you guys want to know something I bought? That's the Lily of the Ellen. Where the hell is my... That's Armistice Bastion. Icebridge Saga Portal Tome. Ah, here, we'll do the Lava Lounge. I bought the Lava Lounge pass during the Ember Bay thing. It was on like a big deep discount. It was the only one of these that I'd never been to or never had. I don't technically have the infinite Din of Infinity's Reach one, but I've explored it before. I'd never explored this. This was technically a new area of Tyria to me. So, yeah, look at all these people. It's high frame rates. It's a very high frame rate location. I'll give it that. Even though Liz on the bottom left is still choppy because she's level 30. Level 30? What the fuck is wrong with my brain? She's 30 FPS. Right, yeah. Tengu playable specifically so that they have new leveling maps that teach you break bars and teach you boons and teach you conditions and all the stuff that we go on and on and on about in circles. That's big. 3. Oh, hold on. Let's just do these with stars for now. Asterisks. Because we're not ranking them yet. What next would I say? I would say the Mesmer spec, but only the Mesmer. Well, let me do this. The mystery image. Whatever they teased at the blog post, that is what I want. Plus, new teaser. I don't want them to blow their load. You know what? We're only in 4-play at the moment, ArenaNet. You're just getting me into bed, okay? I don't want you to blow your load and then run away. Right? We chill out for a little bit. And I want to come out of this stream with another teaser. They could do the Heart of Thorns thing as well. Where they, like, announce... What did they do with Heart of Thorns? They announced... Was it just the Druid? Or did they, like, say 3 of them or whatever? So I don't know. So, yeah, that's all I want. I don't want it to be a giant elite spec bonanza. Trailer. Wait, okay. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about the trailer. What do I really want? What's really on my list? Really? It's that. It's a CGI trailer. I mean, if we're really talking about good marketing and all that shit, I don't know. This is that whole thing. Like, people are superficial. I'm superficial. CGI trailers are fun. Listen, years and years and years ago, I was in the whole thing of like, oh, you shouldn't do CGI trailers. They're deceptive marketing. They're not indicative of the actual game. Blah, 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 blah. But the truth is that they're hype. They're exciting. I want a proper CGI trailer. You know, like, the Guild Wars has never had a trailer as cool as the Factions trailer. Where we get to see Shiro rendered in full CGI and the Jade Wind actually exploding out. Like, that shit was awesome. You're telling me 13 years later, with all the advances in technology and media and so on, that shit can't be, you don't have the budget for that anymore? Surely the budget has come down for that. Surely you can contract that out now and do that alright. Surely. And look, they do it anyway. They just go with the painterly, overly art style. So that's what I would really want. I'd want a CGI trailer, to be honest. However, I have to delete that because we all know that the image they gave us of Shinji at the monastery, that was pulled from a frame of a trailer, wasn't it? We looked in the metadata, so it's a regular trailer, so whatever. I mean, honestly, this is definitely the bottom of the list right now. The trailer thing, it's at the bottom of it, because who cares, really? I mean, like, if they announce Free Living World, I would always take that announcement over anything else. What else do I want? Well, obviously the best thing from the Icebrood Saga, Funko Pops, but no. I don't know, it gets tricky now because we kind of just go into a wish list of... I just looked over at chat to see someone say, shut your mouth. This just becomes a wish list of what we want for the expansion, doesn't it? Make a Funko Pop of your in-game character. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Bubble Tea and Quiznos. We'll do all of those. I don't know. This is probably it, to be honest. I mean, because then you got like player housing, but like player housing. What is this? What does this actually mean for Guild Wars 2? What actually is this? This is a solution to reward problems. Okay, like This is more incentive to make legendaries as you can display them, and armor sets as you can display them, and new furniture and shit like that they can do with new achievements. What that is that's what that actually means, the player housing thing. Also, I should just describe this really. I think if we're going to be really accurate about this, is player furnishing, right? We kind of do have our home instance or whatever. That's what that is, and that's exciting, and that is a long-term thing for Guild Wars 2, but, so yeah, alright, that can be announced. That would be very meaningful to me. I mean, we can talk about, like, spears, or, like, new weapons and stuff. Confirmation. Now, that confirmation of new weapons is, like, that's a separate thing to just talking about one of the elite specs. Let's say it is a dagger mesmer. That's where my money is. It's a dagger mesmer, right? So it's not going to do anything special. But if at the end of that they say, by the way, pole arms, by the way, a scythe, by the way, a whip, by the way, or whatever, you know, if they do that. What is going on here? With my phone. I'm being texted. I'm being invited to the cinema. Yeah, so I think that would be huge as well. Does it really mean much for the lifeblood of the game? No, not necessarily. What else? Legendary sneak peek? Or details? Now, this is interesting as well. Because, I mean, we're all pretty cynical, right? Like, they almost snuck... No, they haven't talked about it since. They almost snuck that little detail out. We're doing Gen 3 legendaries. For End of Dragons. But, like, they only got 3 with Heart of Thorns. So, what is it 1 with End of Dragons? Do we have to wait to the Living World afterwards? Do we get to see what they look like? I think that's very likely to be on the stream, by the way. It's not very high on my list, but it's something. Fishing is a new crafting thing tied to 400, 500 cooking. I mean, fishing is like, it's a feature request at this point to me. Do I see, what does this solve? A solution to, I don't see it. I don't know. It doesn't solve anything, does it? What does, it's just like feature creep. It's just bloat. It's just content, really, right? And do I want that content to be fishing, or do I want it to be fucking badass strike missions? That's what I'd love as well. I'd love confirmation of strikes. Alright, there you go. That's 2 big ones. Those 2 ones are very big dicks that I would love. So you've got confirmation of a strike focus and anything. What I believe is that raids are a massive time and waste of resources, because they're like these huge maps filled with story for people that don't care about the story, and side achievements that people don't care about the side achievements. I'm not talking about like CM achievements. I'm talking about like, you know, all go explore and pick up notes and stuff. And people who are scared of raids get annoyed that there's story. You know, I've always complimented Bastion as being one of the greatest things that they ever added. And people get annoyed at that. Like, I don't want to have to raid. So they're just this thing that doesn't satisfy the people they're aiming for and pisses off people, other people. So don't do raids. Strikes. Look at how efficient a strike is. Just make it all about, like, have Doom CM quality content. Doom CM difficulty content, real, serious endgame. Remember, because a lot of you guys are blind to strikes. A lot of you guys think strikes, oh, they're boring. They're all too easy. That doesn't mean the format is boring. That doesn't mean the format is easy. That means the Icebreed Saga people had no balls, and they made them too simple to complete. And they also hid them from the main story, so a lot of people didn't know. Now, I think going forward, the End of Dragons should come out with, like, some badass motherfucking strikes. That's what I believe. Strikes. And then they can put a lot of them out. Like, the value here is if you're a raider and you're like, I don't like Guild Wars because it doesn't do any content. It takes forever to get to content. If they announce to me strikes, I would like, they can actually put those out regularly. They can actually do stuff. So that would put me over the moon. That would be one of the most incredible confirmations they could ever do on the stream to me. And that would immediately... Like, people are always like, why do people pick Final Fantasy XIV, not Guild Wars? I'll tell you why. It's because... Well, it's for a billion reasons. But one of them is just that idea of having tangible content that pushes back for groups. We don't have it! And then also, I think dungeons. You know, like, we've had the debate about dungeons v fractals endlessly. And I'm losing that debate, alright? I'm on the fractal side. I'm holding my little fractal flag. I'm waving it, alright? I'll fight for fractals. I really will. but I can't stop the tides. I can't stop you all. You love dungeons, and I gotta be honest. I kind of like the idea of it being like, oh, by the way, End of Dragons has 2 dungeons in it. Can you imagine opening the world map and scrolling down? There's a little dungeon icon down there. Oh, I think people would be very, very, very hyped by that. If the live stream had all of that on it, that's a real live stream right there. That's pretty goddamn good. They packed that into half an hour. Could you imagine Balthazar as a raid or a hard mode strike? Exactly. Balthazar as a strike. Exactly. The Morgemorth Hearts or Minds as a strike. Zaitan as a strike. Anything you can imagine. Any cool boss that's in the game and never got reused as a raid, which is a fuck ton, as a strike. I have a whole video script that I was working on for that, but I never got around to posting it for you all. Yeah, Lazarus, Cordicus. There's loads of fights. There's loads they could do. Come on. And you'll notice that's what FF14 basically does. Their duties, their strikes. Come on. When you fight a primal, that's a strike. Is that live stream at the end of the month? Even earlier than that, it's the 27th. It's 1 week from today. Fenway says, dungeons are shite, give me more fractals, open world can be part of the world. Look, I agree that, I don't know, I think ArenaNet have just made some really, really silly mistakes with fractals. They've made fractals look a lot worse than they need to, and not feel like the dungeon replacement when they are. I think there's some very basic things they could do that would help bridge that gap. You know, like, if you went to Ascalon Catacombs, and when you entered it, it was just an enter to a fractal. You ported straight into the Ascalon Catacombs fractal island, for example. And you were getting fractal currencies, and it was about infusions and all that kind of shit. And that it was all fractal stuff, but you entered it from where Ascalon Catacombs is entered from. And the story is a contemporary story, and the dungeon we know is actually physically in the world, and blah, 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 blah. You get all the immersive qualities of Dungeon. You get all the branding value of Dungeon. You get all the gameplay of Dungeons. But you get the long-term value and sort of treadmill stuff of Fractals. And you get the, the unified currencies of Fractals. And you have like an overall infrastructure that you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. If they keep making new dungeons, they have to reinvent the wheel every time. You know, here's a new currency, here's a new vendor with a bunch of new stuff. And I actually think in 2012 they had some brilliant formats straight away. They could have just added more explorable paths. They could have released with less explorable paths and slowly filtered those in. They could have just taken, like, all their concepts were genius in 2012. It's crazy, honestly, what the studio did, because there is another world, guys, where the studio didn't do Living World Season 1 at all. They didn't do festivals, they didn't do South Sun, they didn't do shit. They just did dungeons. They just said, all right, we're about the dungeons. We love Domain of Anguish. We loved Urgo's Warren. We loved The Deep. We loved Fissure of Woe. We loved Underworld. We loved Eye of the North dungeons. All this shit is in our franchise's DNA. Our players are expecting it. We've had some conversations about it in interviews before the game came out. That's what we want to do. We know that that's what MMO players like. And they went big on dungeons. And you would not, and they still would have continued to respect your time. And they still would have adhered to all of the ideas of the manifesto. But they would have given stuff for those people towards the end. And they would never have had these issues about Guild Wars 2 has no end game and all this crazy churn and all this other stuff with all the other formats they did. You know, I think there's a lot of people that, like, they don't get that you can have your cake and eat it too with Guild Wars. You can have a game that respects your time without it being a game that only caters to casuals. They are not one and the same. You can have your... Guild Wars 1 had its cake... and it ate it too. Guild Wars 1 had a very, very shallow, like, leveling phase. It gave you very quick access to 99% of the stuff that you needed. And then it also offered hardcore stuff on top of that. It had its cake and ate it. Guild Wars 2 could have done the same thing. So anyway, I don't know what they're doing. You know, I really don't. You know, on the one hand, I'm thinking about all this stuff. On the other hand, I'm still kind of, even with the news of, like, Colin and Grouch and stuff, on the other hand, I'm still like, is it too late? Maybe this should have been a Guild Wars 3 thing. Like, the years that mattered, they had, I don't know, they got their wires crossed. I don't know. But that's what I think about maybe the End of Dragons and the future to a certain degree. Is there anything else you guys think about that would appear on this stream? The problem with having cake and eating it too idea is the games get typecast. You know, typecasting is, you know, it's a human thing. You know, we stereotype, we form lazy opinions and we stick to them. But, you know, those lazy opinions can sometimes be positive ones. You know, sometimes it's to the game's benefit. Canthalor, well, I mean, that's a given. Oh, I mean, do you guys want to do a thing here where we design it? Okay, so what would I do? I would do a one... oh, wait, how long did they say the event is? Did anyone know? How long is the event? Anyone know? How long is the stream? Has that been announced? Guild Wars 2 on Game Pass. That's interesting. Without some of the other infrastructure, though, it's like the Steam release. I think that's jumping the gun. I know, I wouldn't do Steam release yet. Steam release has to come after new... What they need to do is new player experience, intelligently crafted, not the bullshit we got before, then Steam release, then Game Pass, whatever. It would be that. That's the order that they do. And what does new player experience mean? It means gearing process that is simple. Like, what I want is, you know how in Final Fantasy you just get Allagan tomestones and that's it, you can get your gear? Guild Wars 2 needs to, like, there needs to be quick, cheap, full rare sets you can get of stat selectable anything you want. And there needs to be quick, cheap, exotic sets you can get stat selectable anything you want. And there needs to be ascended stuff that you can maybe even swap back and forth whenever you want. And then finally legendary at the end of all of it. But there needs to, exotic and rare need, I need to be able to do a video that is 2 minutes long in which I say, go to this vendor and spend your daily laurel currency or whatever, right? Do your daily, and the daily's actually interesting. It's not just gather one thing, it's play some co-op gameplay or some shit. Do your daily and check it out. Now you've got all your armor and you can make that Vipers if you want, or you can make it Diviners, or you can make it Celestial, or you can make it Marauder. Bing, bang, boom, done. Not the crazy bullshit that's currently going on, and the video that I just made, where it's like, okay, here's what you could do here, here's what you could do here. For this piece, do a dungeon. For this piece, do this expansion. Oh, this piece you can bypass on the Icebridge Saga, and the shoulders and the helmet are here. And no. That's what needs to happen. And then yeah, the tutorialization, all that other stuff. This is where Guild Wars 2 actually struggles, right? Like, people have been wondering this question so much, and they always think, like, high-end. I don't think it's a high-end leak issue. I think high-end issues create, like a toxic environment, an unwelcoming environment, as everyone's generally miserable, right? And they're always talking shit about their own game, and they're not happy about their own game. That's what those issues create. But the actual problems that are occurring, I think you can actually start to realize when you imagine this, okay? All of you, I want to think right now, if you're listening to me, think of someone that someone who's into gaming, right? We'll give you that bar. They're into gaming, and they're a content creator. I'm not asking you to imagine a fake person or a family member or a friend or whatever. A content creator that knows nothing about Guild Wars 2, but they're into gaming. You got someone in mind? Just think of anyone. Now imagine that person picking up this game and deciding to play it. Just imagine that. Now think of, and we even have some examples of this happening. Think of all the ways in which that person goes wrong as they pick up the game and gets confused. Right, like I can think of a lot of content creators. I'm like, yeah, if they pick this game up, there's just too much for them to learn and know. They're not gonna give it the time of day. It's not that they're stupid people. It's that what you have to remember is they're not a fan yet. Not really. They're a curious observer for now. They're not so massively into it that they're going to dive into wiki page after wiki page after wiki page. They're just not. And so it makes sense to me. When I look at other MMOs, it's like, of course they went to that other MMO, that big franchise, that known quantity. Guild Wars is like, it has to be such a smooth run in. So you got to do all of that, then the Steam release, and then whatever else, all right? And any kind of like stupid, oh, let's do, you know, Twitch incentives, or let's do, you know, collaborations with Quiznos, and let's do taxi cab campaigns and all that other. No, man, come on. The product isn't ready for it yet, and I'm sorry, but that is the consequence of being too fast forward thinking for too many years. Players are only excited about new content, so that's what we're gonna make. Wrong. Anyone who watched my Stellaris playthrough yesterday will have heard us talking about Paradox Game Studios and how they just recently split their team in half. Half are working on new stuff, and half are just doing old patches and cross-pollinating DLCs and updating old stuff, because they see the value in it now. They see it. And it's just a question of how long do you want to go. If you're looking to race people into Guild Wars 3, then fuck it. Don't do any of that stuff. But if this game matters, then do it. That's why I'm a believer in Guild Wars 3, really. Because I don't see ArenaNet doing any of that. And that's where I want to see that in the live stream. We're going to add that to live stream. Look at that. Look at that segue back. That looks like that was planned and scripted, doesn't it? That's just amazing improv you're seeing there. Okay. Are you familiar with the family system in other games? We get housing. I'd love it if they had something like that. I'd like to be able to do a house with just my girlfriend or a couple or really close friends. Guild halls are too expensive for that. I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm sure Guild Wars wouldn't have you buying auction, competing for plots with other people. There's no way they'd do that. That is not in this game. So yeah, if they did a furnishing, housing thing, I think you'd see it a lot like Wild Stars. Don't forget that these two studios under the NCSoft umbrella, NCSoft West specifically, kind of collaborated in some ways, and I think, I don't know how much of what WildStar did is on anyone's mind anymore, but you have to remember that was a big selling point from them, and I think ArenaNet could learn and take a lot from what they did. Just some WP fan things that I would like to see as well, by the way. Oh, do I dare? I don't even know if I dare. My world versus world concept? Do you know what I think would be really healthy for the game? I don't know what to call this feature. I don't have a name for the feature. I'm not being paid to invent the whole thing. I'm going to type tonic thing. But basically, allowing people to play... Like, basically, imagine a system like a Polymock thing, right? In which... But, okay, Polymock is more of a mini thing, right? But basically like a re-leveler thing where you can gear and level your tonics, combat tonics. So, like, you are truly inhabiting that creature, that entity or whatever. I think that would create, like, infinite amounts of new replay and, like, new re-leveling possibilities and... push people back into the early stuff. So it's not... So Guild Wars 2 wouldn't just be about, oh, you can just level 9 classes and that's it forever. Maybe you want to go and level, like, your ooze, or you can level your, you know, your toy doll or your princess doll or whatever tonics you enjoy. There's some power in that, I promise. There's some power. And then minis as well. If minis / Polymock had, like, a leveling component to it, I think that could be good. Or, like, a gearing component. I still think mount gear could be a good thing to look at as well, and then they can start filtering out like exotic and ascended and legendary mount saddles and mount weapons and shit like that. They're all a little bit more headier and further off, and I doubt ArenaNet has any resources to do anything like that for the next half a decade, but hey, there you go. Like tied to Koshing Ball, real stats. It would be for real combat. It would be like imagine if the tonic didn't kick you out when you hit a loading screen. Imagine like when you toggled into that mode, you were that entity. And it's basically like a tonic thing, yeah. Would you like to see pet battles with our minis like WoW did? Yeah, I mean, look, when you get to shit like that, those things I just said, and like pet battles, that's like a B tier. That's like another rung. That's like, okay, once the actual issues are resolved, like the biggest pain points, the most important stuff, okay, hustle the fuck out of those. And then you can start, you know, doing that other stuff. I really believe in, like, breadth features. Stuff that just makes the game wider. They are for a healthy game. They are for a game that is really well ironed out. I don't believe in going wider. I believe in, like, fixing up what's currently there and expanding on what's currently there. Right? Heart of Thorns was all about that. It was all about introducing systems that should be getting expanded on. Guild missions should be getting expanded on. Guild halls should be getting fixed up. I mean, guilds especially. I mean, yeah, let's fucking add guilds on here. Come on, man. This is like the ultimate community thing. Do you know what's weird? Guys, the Spud Club is recruiting. It's recruiting, everyone. Do you want to join the Spud Club? We're almost at max members. We're going to have 1,000 people with End of Dragons. It's going to be so exciting. Please, guys, really, there's a link in the Discord. You can join the Spud Club. Do you know what everyone's thinking when I say that? Nearly everyone. But why? That's what they're thinking. Why would I join the Spud Club? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? You don't even need to join a guild for Ascended Accessories anymore. I was surprised to find myself recommending that on the video recently. Who gives a shit about guilds? So yeah, if the live stream had something for that for the End of Dragons era, oh, we definitely put that on there. I don't know how to rank all of these. Let's try it. What is my ranking? Feasibility? Desire? What is my ranking? I don't know. Let's go free living. Am I just doing that because that's at the top? I honestly think I'm going to go purely for game health here. Can you guys hear someone talking in the background constantly? Is that Ember Bay? Oh shit, hold on. No. I think that's 5. I think this is 2. This is 3. This is 3. Ooh, that's hard. I don't know. I might. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick to my gut on that. I really do think the strike focus end game comes above, possibly. I'm gonna go fan fiction mode here. Let's say CGI trailer. If it's a CGI trailer, I think it now comes at number 6. I think then it's Surprise Dungeons. Then I think Elite Specs are very exciting to people, so we probably go 8 on that. This would be a huge feature, but nonetheless is number 9 to me. Confirmation of new weapons would be very cool. And then 11 on the legendary sneak peek. I think that's my ranking. That's my priority list. Raid needs a story mode. Well, I think if they did do it in strikes, which I think is a really good idea, there's maybe a world in which you break raids apart and then you can have a story version. You know, like how you would just scale it down and let people. But I don't know. A lot of these encounters don't work that way. It's probably it's probably a massive waste of time to do that. I still think it's a massive waste of time. What people have never I think the big issue with the raid problem when it comes to like making fuck tons of modes for them and stuff is, to me, you've got to remember that everything comes at a development cost, okay? So if the ultimate result is just a step sideways, if it's just a lateral move that you've introduced, it's a bad thing to spend time investing in developing it. You know, a lot of discussion about this game, and all video games, right, comes from nerds that have the luxury of sitting in their rooms imagining that stuff can just magically be there. There's no logistics. There's no real world, you know, development time. There's no ramp in or anything like that. It's just there. And it's like, would this be of a benefit? And it's like, if I can only just maybe possibly see something be a benefit, but probably it'll be a sideways step. So it's like, it'll be nice to have. Like, and yet it's like got a lot of development on it. That's a terrible idea. You know, there's way better stuff they should focus on. And I still stand by that. I really do. Maybe someday way down the line. Yeah, exactly. And they would be played once by people and never again. Yeah, they would. I believe in keeping what we have with raids sacred. Because it's so much more satisfying. It's not a real game, guys. It's not a real game when you do stuff that's just completely denuded. Like, come on. You think that the Bastion of the Penitent would be good if it was just something that I spent 10 minutes in and I just one-shot all the bosses? You really think I would have, like, been so hyped and mind-blown when I went into, like, the Demos realm or whatever? You really think, like, going into the Labyrinth during, like, Kadim would be that exciting? Come on, it would be it would not be that good. It would be as milquetoast and lukewarm as, like, the POF story was, you know? Where if you're a lore enthusiast, sure, you'll get into it. But a lot of people, what do they think when they think of that story? What do they think when they think Living World story? They think meh, guys. They think meh. And I don't want to take something that's currently really, really cool and make it meh. Even if you got, like, okay, 10% of those people now feel a little bit more confident maybe to play it as a party, and I think that already is a pretty optimistic guess. That's still basically a lateral move. It's not the salvation of the mode. It's always been a nonsense idea. However, what I would say beyond that though is strikes. You can do difficulty modes in strikes very easily. They're not as complicated. And if it's a strike, it's not like locking a ton of story. There's not like any of that other tangible stuff that people are like trying to skip, you know. They're trying to skip the gameplay so they can experience the story. Well, that doesn't matter in a strike because it's just an arena. Do you know what I mean? So you can actually do that, and there's absolutely no loss there whatsoever. It's a much more powerful, much more possible move to do difficulty modes in strikes. So I'm a big believer in them for that format, and I think you can have everything there. So yeah, I love strikes. The Icebreed Saga brought us something brilliant with strikes, and it brought us something brilliant with DRMs as well. I'll stick that stake in the ground. A general UI shuffle, achievements panel looking at you. Yeah, I think you're right. I haven't... This is one of those annoying things where I know it's a real problem, and I have absolutely no solution. I reckon I could think about this for like a full day, like really think about it, and circle around a bunch of different concepts in my head, and I still wouldn't feel... Like, how do you do it? Like, I have ideas of how to make AP better and more rewarding to go for and so on. And I'm going to be doing a new player AP video soon. But the idea of just, like, telegraphing which ones are important and getting new players invested when it's like, look at this shit. Look at how much they're like... It's too much. It's crazy. I'm actually having this exact experience in Final Fantasy right now where it's like, wow, there's so many. Do I really care about getting into this? In fact, if you watch my last FF14 stream, you will hear me exactly say what are achievement points and what can I spend them on. That's what people ask about Guild Wars 2 as well. I don't know. I don't know how to fix the UI presentation. There is a presentation problem, especially when they're doubling up achievements as like quests and trying to use it as a content delivery system. That is absolutely a dud and causes people to miss out on a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys know? Right, let me do this thing. Yeah, normal mode and extreme trials are perfect examples of how difficulty settings can teach mechanics. Exactly, yeah, they just layer it up. As far as I've been told, the way that Square Enix does the Final Fantasy stuff is they make the raid or whatever, the trial or whatever, they make it with like all the mechanics, and then they strip a bunch out, like literally just strip a bunch out. And they release that as normal mode. And then a couple of weeks later, the hard one comes out. But it was always designed as the one with a full feature-fledged one. It's just they gut it and send it out as an earlier thing. And I think that's really smart. So I'd like to see ArenaNet do stuff like that. I mean, you can see fractals as well. They're not stupid. The thing is with ArenaNet, they're so smart and they're real experts when they're like on target. And you can see, as messy as a lot of fractal shit is, if you watch how some of those like later fractals they added scale up when you go through the tiers, you can see the exact same processes at play. Right, who are we speaking to? ArenaNet know what's up. They know what they're doing with that kind of stuff. They could be doing it with strikes too. It's the Tengu. Obviously, it's the Tengu. What are you doing? Right, so we can only buy 3 of these a day. Basically, what's happening here, guys, if I go to my Junlai chest... I'm not really doing Master anymore. It's been too long. But if you have a look here, all these Tengu weapons, I haven't got any of them. And they're, like, bagging it down. There's also a bunch of Black Lion stuff I don't have. And some of the Abyssal stuff's in the list now as well, which is interesting. There's just a ton of stuff. It's like, my god, the weapons section exploded. And I got to catch back up to this so that I can pop these and get a good chance at the glider, the outfit, and whenever they add more to this. So, you know, that's probably a good thing for the health of the game, by the way. One thing that the Icebreed Saga did is, I think a lot of whales that would have been getting a free ride through these unlockers no longer are, because there's so much actual gameplay now to catch up again. So, I think I could just do an armor thing, by the way, for... no, that's a weapon thing. Yeah, I could get the 3 capes through the armor unlockers if I wanted. In fact, fuck it, let's do that right here. But I do want to get the weapons, so we're going to do the Tengu thing. So is that stained glass, Celestial Ministry, and the Dark Matter cape. I don't really have any fashion in mind. I don't know if Komi's around. If Komi wants to do some fashion, would love to do it. I've been thinking about my open world build series that's coming up. And what I'd really like to do is, instead of explaining every skill and every trait, I could just say to people, watch my video where I've already gone over all of this. That would be cool. But the problem is, my introducing the Soul Beast, for example, video was from like my brief fly out to the studio. So it's like, or was it? Was it the Elite Specialization weekend they did in Heart of the Mist? Anyway, it's not good. And it's like old as well. And balance has been thrown out. So I don't know what I'm doing there really. But for that series, I have special fashion on every character. And that's kind of on hold. Right, so we need to do more of the rubbings. So let's go back to Drizzlewood. We're actually going to do something here on this stream. It's not just going to be chit-chat. Any estimation on how long I'll be streaming? I don't know. Not too long. Oh, look, guys. We're in Drizzlewood with good... ultra'd out with good frame rates. Look at how sharp. Look at how soft the lighting is. I mean, look at all the foliage. I've never done this. I've never streamed with a decent frame rate here. So enjoy this on Ultra. Never, never, never. This place was Crash City before. Right, should I take this text off screen? Right, how do I know, though? Let's see. General. Sorry, no, it's Story Journal. Oh, do you know what? I need to do this Shiver at the Peaks as well. I still got so many achievements. You know, I've had all these on hold because of Master, which we were doing in what? March? In March, I did a couple of streams. I was like, yeah, let's do this, and then we just didn't. You asked earlier if I elaborated on the squad setup tool, and I think it got lost in chat. Yeah, it definitely did. It's still a work in process. It's a tool that will let you pick classes in a raid squad, and it will show you what your squad lacks based on the classes you picked. Okay, but that means it's assuming your build based on the class, right? Does it assign a build? That's what I would quite like. A tool that looks at all the classes available and then assigns the builds for like the most optimal setup you can out of that collection of classes. That would be a really powerful tool. Does that make sense, what I just articulated there? Have I talked about playing New World at all? Yeah, I did at the start. I'm not really that interested in it. Maybe. I'll watch some footage of it tonight since everyone's excited, and maybe I'll look at it again. It's on no quarter, is it? Whoops. Alright, Tengu weapon etchings. So I've done a few. What I'm going to do is go to the wiki page here. What's it called? Tengu weapon etchings. By the way, is anyone in chat here from Discord? And my ping in Discord. Is that annoying people when I'm pinging? I feel like that's what I should use the Discord for, to ping, right? Like, I mean, Christ. But, I don't know. I feel like maybe it's not a good idea or something. Also, if you guys haven't done it yet, you should definitely join our Discord. There will be stream notifications and stuff on there. The pinging is fine? Okay, alright. You don't need an account or anything, just hit the link. We're friendly. I have a channel for chatting about my videos. I have a channel if you want to help me with my videos. We have a generic Guild Wars 2 discussion channel. We have a Final Fantasy discussion channel. We have a just everything chat. We got loads of... It's actually pretty much popping off at the moment. I'm really, really happy with it. There's lots of little things going on. We got a Guild Wars 1 channel, which I'm not in enough. I feel bad about, but it always puts a smile on my face when I click there and I can see just actual discussion. It's nice. Right. Tengu. So I need the mysterious axe etching. So that's going to be on the rocks southwest of Wolf's Crossing Bridge. I love how much people are embracing the wiki these days as well, and that we don't have this weird thing where southwest of the bridge, where you never quite know where to go for a guide because people are contributing different guides to different places. I think that's going to be a really powerful thing for End of Dragons. It's really good. Basically, every single video I do aimed at new players, just so that you guys know, is going to be saying wiki. Wiki, 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 wiki. That's like the ultimate thing for me. Because, you know, then it's the whole teach a man to fish and he'll feed himself. Don't just give him a fish. As I've so eloquently explained there. Hold on, why didn't that tick over if I just did it? I think that really is so important. You know, we're in an era where wikis are important, and Guild Wars 2, I mean, come at me, right? But Guild Wars 2 has like the best wiki of any game I've ever played. What game has a better wiki than Guild Wars? Really? Most games I play, they have like multiple wikis fighting each other. Guild Wars 1 had multiple wikis fighting each other for a very brief period of time. But you know, like, it's so officially endorsed by the studio, and the people that contribute there are so diligent. Come on, man. I mean, if you're not telling people to go to the wiki constantly, you don't have to give them every little bit of trivia. Put them on the wiki page that has every bit of trivia. Do you know what I mean? Right, so that's the axe. Next, I want the great sword. The great sword is over here. I don't know how many etchings I have, by the way. What game has a better wiki? Pokemon's got a pretty good wiki, but there's like 2 of them, and they're a little bit inconsistent. And Pokemon's a game filled with trivia and shit like that, let's be real. Elder Scrolls covers all games. I've always found Elder Scrolls, again, to be a bit confusing to navigate. You know, a lot of it might just be that I'm so used to the Guild Wars wiki, so... Do you know what I feel like the game's missing? The launch sense of grabbing these. Does anyone else feel that? I mean, I always see people mining all the time. I used to really love and get so excited seeing like Orichalcum or like certain ores and veins. Nowadays, though, it's like just the new map currency, and I'll mine that. But like a global game-wide thing that hooks into tons of the crafting and stuff. I feel like Orichalcum would be a lot more compelling if it was exclusively mined, rather than something I was getting spammed up from salvaging. Like that 328 I've got there is just from salvaging. And I'm like, whatever, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and like Omnom berries and stuff like that. I feel like that's a side of game that isn't emphasized anymore. So the general gameplay in open world, like, I don't know, suffers a bit. But then again, I do see people always mine, so maybe that's just a me thing. Right, next we're going to get the longbow. I don't know how many we've got more. We'll keep going. The longbow is north of Port Cascadia. I can't believe how much DirectX 12 has improved my performance while streaming here. Seriously. You definitely see the value of this more, the more that you've been stressing your PC out. Such as in open world events and so on. This holo build's not very inspired, by the way, but it is what I'm going to go with. I like the Basically, what clicked for me about Hollow, for anyone that plays a lot of Engineer, I didn't realize just how much synergy this Grandmaster has with swords specifically. So what this does is increases your heat capacity, and it means that when you're at the higher heat thresholds, on Hollow, the more heat you have, you unlock new perks on your skills. Like your hard light arena will be bigger, or your laser discs will last longer, shit like that, right? But what I didn't realize is like all 3 sword abilities synergize with your heat. So therefore, if you bump the cap up on your heat, all 3 of these just really perk up. Like, look at that. 7 3/4 of a second quickness from being at high heat on this with the Radiant Arc. And that's the big thing. Look at 4 additional blades when you're over 100% heat. 4 additional blades. It's really good. And that was the thing that made me fall in love with Sword and clicked into place a really fun Hollow playstyle. The other 2 GMs, I don't know. Right, that's Longbow. God, it's so hot. I feel like I've got the heating on full blast and I don't. I have a fan blowing in my face and it feels like a hairdryer or something. Well, maybe not that hot, but still. Alright, shield. The shield etching is on top of the Griffin's pillar. Does anyone in chat use Blish HUD? Does Blish HUD allow me to browse the wiki in-game? Is that what Blish HUD lets me do? Because that would be pretty goddamn cool, especially for streaming. You know, like you open your hero panel, you get an extra button down here. I'm curious how much development is going on with Blish HUD. If they did a Guild Wars 3, would you want a Hall of Monuments type thing from Guild Wars 2? What would you center around? AP? Yes and yes, I think. I mean, really, I think you've nailed it. I'd center around AP. Maybe you could do, like, special skins. What would probably happen with an announcement like that is that there would be one last box product that they would be selling. Just like Eye of the North. And probably in that box product, they'd do some special shit with it. You know, some extra stuff on top. So, I would assume there would be that stuff, yeah. Alright, short bow, staff, sword, warhorn. How much paper do I have? Oh, I have 4 paper. Oh! Oh, perfect. We can do it all. Brilliant. Doesn't Taco do that? Yeah, I was talking to Tekkit the other day, though, and he said that Taco isn't being developed anymore. The guy that made Taco put all the source code out and said anyone can pick it up, anyone can do stuff with it, but I'm not going any further with it for now, I think is what he said. So it's kind of people are moving away from it. Blish HUD does still have active development, and Tekkit himself, you guys have got to understand, Tekkit is a god that makes all these marker packs, like these incredible community resources. Like, he's unbelievable. And he says he's moving over to Blish HUD. So that's kind of the big thing, I think. Right, short bow. What PC build need to make you a good Guild Wars 2 PC? I talk a little bit about that in my graphics performance video that I just did recently. Basically, just get a fast CPU. You can go back to like a 960 GPU. I'm not joking. You can go back to like a 960 and you'll be fine for Guild Wars 2. It's not taxing your card. It's taxing your CPU. So just the fastest CPU you possibly can get. That's all that matters. Or instructions per clock or whatever the fuck people were talking about with that. You don't need that many threads, you don't need that many cores, you just need speed. It's the same with the other game that I'm streaming at the moment, Stellaris. Okay, wait, what did I just read? Staff I have, right? Oh no, I don't have staff, so staff is gonna be... Oh, staff's up near the bridge as well. I didn't realise. I could have grabbed that a second ago. Oh, look, blue blob's there. Yeah, there's something about the post-processing here that makes the game feel really soft and aliased. Don't you guys think? I don't know what it is they did. It feels a little bit washed out, maybe a bit, but that also maybe just is the ambience. I think Drizzlewoods is probably a really important thing to look at to get a sense of like what the environment artist might like doing and might be capable of doing in End of Dragons. Because you got to remember, it is the most recently added map. I really hope End of Dragons has meta events that have a mechanic that will come down to each person like how the Marionette did. Yeah, so they've just announced that the Marionette is coming back publicly. They talk in the post about how they're actually happy with how the community has risen to the challenge. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I read that, to me, that screams we're not scared of raising the bar because we think you're going to match the bar. And we're excited by this. I think what you just said there is... I think they're probably looking very closely at the Marionette. And there's probably some End of Dragons metas in development right now. Like, literally, people go into work to do it at the moment. And they're probably thinking very carefully about what the Marionette does well and what it doesn't in terms of, like, individual player responsibility. And hopefully they've got some balls, you know. Path of Fire, as great as it was, it really feels like it was made by a studio that listened too much to its critics, you know? Listened way too much to the Heart of Thorns feedback about the way that the metas worked and the currencies worked and all that shit. And we see what road that led us down. I've said it many times. The ultimate End of Dragons is a hybrid expansion. It's the perfect middle ground between Heart of Thorns and POF. 2 POF style maps, 3 Heart of Thorns style maps. If they do a Verdant Brink, an Auric Basin, and a Tangled Depths, and they do, pick anyone, I don't give a crap, Ellen Riverlands and Desert Highlands, they're all great, right? That's a great experience right there. 5 maps. Oh, that should be just to be fair. They should be saying how many maps there are. That should be on the list here. This list kind of got really messy. This is not a good list. But you know, if this was purely just what will come in the at the stream, I think an announcement of the maps is a thing. I should probably do a video about that. Preferably sometime before the week's up, as well. Right, swords. Swords. It's weird looking at the wiki because it shows ice all along here, which obviously doesn't exist anymore. Oh my god, Blue Blob's doing it again. Are you actually leading me around? Is that what's happening? There's only 2 more. I appreciate the support there though, dude. It's amazing how diligent. Not to say all maps have to be the same size. No, size doesn't matter at all. It does. Listen, guys. All right, don't worry. It doesn't matter how big it is. It's what you do with it. Okay. That's true in many areas of the world, but most importantly, it's true in MMO design. Okay? To be honest, I think Path of Fire scale maps plus mounts hooked into a Chuck Gerrant style experience, that's pretty cool, don't you guys think? Or Auric Basin or VB, right? Just the idea of like this huge meta that really covers massive ground. I mean, we kind of get it a little bit with POF anyway. When you look at the Ellen Riverlands, you know, when you're in the doppelganger phase where you're collecting the magic and the dynamic event range is this fucking thing, and it's like, holy shit, we're in a big event right now. You know, remember that? Like, I'm excited about that kind of stuff at End of Dragons. That analogy is odd when you would say you'd rather have lots of little ones instead of a big one. You know, some people are into having lots of little ones all around them. You know, it's just a preference thing. And if you don't think it's your preference, it's because you haven't experienced it yet. Finally, we have the Warhorn. Who is here? Thank you, wiki contributors. So no Blish HUD runners. Nobody can confirm if I see the wiki in game on that. It's also interesting to me that so often we don't have conversations about the living world metas. Like what worked there, what didn't work there. God, I'm really enjoying the way that Drizzlewood looks right now. What is this? It makes me want to just keep playing on this map and stream for longer. But I don't know what else I'd have to do that's easy on this map, achievement-wise. We'll have a very brief look in a second. Are we in the sky? Are we on the floor somewhere? It might be high up. All the other ones have been high up. Yeah, Drizzlewood, it's not the same when it's choppy and low framey. It's just not the same. This feels rock solid to me now, though. It feels rock solid. I mean, because it is. Look at this. I was slamming 171 frames right there. It's a shame you guys only get 60 of them. I know that sounds nuts, but man. I should have recommended people get a better monitor, a high refresh rate monitor. Whatever. Games with massively varying FPS, maybe it doesn't matter. It's not like this is an FPS or something. There you go. Tengu weapon etchings completed. I don't really know what happens now. I have the Echo Blades. I don't really know what I'm doing with them. Yeah, I still haven't played this patch with the story. Christ, what a wild ride this year's been. I was going to do it right when it came out, and then something got in the way. Probably some bout of depression or low energy or something. Then I was going to stream it. Then I was going to do it in my immersive story recap. And now here I am still looking at it. Should I just stream this? Like, seriously, I have never played this patch with voice acting. There is story content I've not experienced. Not a single one of the instances. And Jormag Rising, I never finished it. I did a bit of it with Kerry and then we stopped. It's called With Feeling. I don't know where it is. Anyway, that's actually the patch finished as well. These are all infinite and you can never do them. Oh, no. Disrupts supply lines. I gotta loot another supply caravan at some point. That one's kind of tricky to do because you never see goddamn caravans around in the normal course of play. I don't actually know when the best time to do that is. You hated the story, the direction the story went there, so I haven't gone back yet either. Yeah, is this the patch where they just did insane shit to Smolder? I don't know, man. I mean, people think that I'm losing confidence in the story because of the end of the saga, but honestly, the saga did a lot of things really well, and then there's just like the Smolder stuff. Like, I don't know what was going on there. Were they trying to make us like? Were they trying to like twist our conceptions about a Char that many of us enjoyed? And show just how it can make them bastards or something. It's just weird because Smolder up until that point in the story really was like the more progressive feeling of the three Imperators. And in a way I kind of like the idea of saying, okay, look, so far you've stereotyped him as the peace broker, right? The treaty broker, and the guy that, like, you know, will think a little bit more than the others and that will push a bit further. And he's kind of like the good guy. Well, look, we're going to show you that he's a bastard anyway. You know, he's still a charge just like any others. Blah, 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 blah. I kind of get that idea. It just felt like such a 180 on his whole characterization. It felt so tacky as well and transparent. He was like a cartoon. Just make him completely ludicrously evil so that you can kill him off. And it was so obvious that that's what they were doing. And then they did it. It was just like I was in the, like, I don't know. It was so predictable and just gross. I can't get over the Smolder stuff at this part of the story. Well, I can get over it. I am over it. I don't have to think about it anymore. That's the same as being over it, right? Yeah, definitely some weird story direction issues there. I could try Impressive Pugilist as well. Should we do Shiver at the Peaks? This will give me Shiver Plus, which I don't have. Well, hold on. How long have I been streaming? Alright, we haven't been going 2 hours yet. Alright, I'll do it. Shiver at the Peaks. Use /Shiver in the highest parts of all the Shiver Peak Mountains. It's not going to be this map. But, you know, we'll find some pretty places anyway. So the highest part of Wayfarer. My guess, since the whole thing is a slope, that it's at the north. And it's like in the tower at Svanir's Dome, maybe? Ritlock turning completely soft was kind of a red flag for you. Okay, the Ritlock thing, we've talked about a lot. I want to add a little something to the Ritlock thing. What I think is... what I think the problem with the Ritlock thing... Actually, that tower isn't the highest. These seem to be higher. Is that we didn't get to see the progression. You know, I know the facts of him spending a lot of time with other races and so on that softens him. But, I feel like we never really saw his character change. I feel like one day they just put out that Requiem story about how he was bullied as a cub. And then he was just like soft and boring and lame to be around after that. And it's like, ugh. So I think if I'd seen the progression a bit better, I would have bought it more. But it is really weird with Ritlock. You know, I'm doing this big ultimate story cut. Every now and then, every day, I'll get in there and edit it a little bit further at the moment. And in the story cut, I have the end of Edge of Destiny. Let me read you this. What is it? Kindle. And look, I can do this. This isn't copyright. Look how good that Springer is. Look at that bad boy. So metallic. Legionnaire Ritlock Brimstone stood. This is the end of Edge of Destiny. After they fucked up against Kralkatorrik, they're all split up. Legionnaire Ritlock Brimstone stood guard on the curtain wall of the Black Citadel. It was not glamorous duty, but at least he was fighting for the right side again. When he first returned to the Blood Legion, he was stripped of rank and assigned menial work. An overseer called him a traitor, and Ritlock killed him. That's how he became an overseer. Later, a legionnaire called him a deserter, and Ritlock killed him as well. That's how he became a legionnaire. Let a centurion call him a friend to humans, and Ritlock would rise again. He was no longer a friend to humans, especially not Logan. He spit from the top of the wall and watched the gobbet fall 100 feet down before smearing. Logan, who was Queen Jenna's lapdog. Logan, who had corrupted a dungeon full of char. Logan, who had made a fool out of Ritlock. He'd best hope the Seraph never fight the Blood Legion. Like, this is a character that would probably slit Logan's throat. Do you get what I mean? And Cord doesn't really take that away from him, softens him a little bit. This guy is a murderer. He's a char. And look at what the Icebrood Saga does. The Icebrood Saga is all about, we need to move the char into the new world where everybody's nice and our hug box can grow. Like, come on. Why? Different areas of the franchise can cover different societies, you know? They can be different from one another. You can have a bunch of murderers. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I would be shivering at the peaks here, so let's try and shiver. Alright, didn't work. The problem with this achievement is I don't know whether there's like a thing for us to look at or what. So let's have a quick look on our good friend, the Guild Wars 2 wiki. Shiver at the peaks. Oh, whoa, really? Their locations are not where I thought. Apparently it's at Twinspur Haven. Twinspur Haven? How is that the highest peak on this map? I mean, I appreciate I'm not necessarily on a peak right now. Preach it, WP. Do you have a build for each specialization on mind already, or at least an idea? No, I don't have a good concept for Berserker. Somebody linked me an idea of a shield Berserker. I tried it. Not too keen right now. I don't have Berserker. I don't have a good concept for... There's one other one. What's the other one I don't care about right now? Thief. Thief. I'm not... A Thief I'm very lost on. Thief, I don't know what the fuck I would enjoy. They all just feel way too like... maybe it's just a gear issue and I should just put more orders on or something. but they just feel too intense. You know, finding that perfect like face roll brain dead build. That's what I tried to make basically. Face roll builds. That's what I tried to make. High quality of life face roll builds, and I can't find a thief variant that's not like spam 3. I like to make face roll builds that are fluid and enjoyable to play. That's what I really like, and I can't find a... I'm sure there's a Daredevil concept out there, like a super high quality of life Daredevil. Is it not this peak? Is it that one over there instead, actually? So any concepts for that, let me have them. Yeah, the pistol thing's fine, or even doing it with a staff on a Daredevil. Just invigorating precision with a staff is also fine, and a lot of people like that. It's just that's kind of what I already did, so I'm wondering if there's like a new version or something to talk about. It sucks. Do you remember who was here on my last Guild Wars 2 stream? Wow, this is a pretty trolly achievement, man. There's no telegraph for that at all. Is that really higher than the stuff later? Anyone who watched my previous Guild Wars 2 stream would have heard me talking about Ranger and the Ranger pets and how like buildcraft is really fun there and really variable there because they get like a whole other layer. Here's the thing about Thief. I think Thief really should feel the same. I think I should love Thief. I think Thief should be my favorite profession in a lot of ways because of the steal mechanic. I would really love a Thief build that made like stolen items like super fun and super variant. Can you imagine if they were like, and believe me, there's a lot of ways to augment steal, but all the ways you augment steal is augmenting steal itself, not the stolen item. I would really love a Thief build that's like really, but that would take a lot of like stuff that doesn't exist on the profession right now. So just in terms of like a balance thing I would like to see one day, it's that, you know. It's weird to me that at no point in the game's development have they ever lent into that as like an open world concept. They kind of played with it a bit with the new variety of them that are available in strikes and so on. But, I don't know. Strikes in raids. But I don't know. Apparently it's here, is the peak. That's what I'm missing on Thief. And until that exists, I don't know whether I'll really, really ever have a crazy amount of fun on it. I could probably concept some cool traits from that. Dude, I should do an elite speculation with boots. No, but see, it's not an elite spec to me. It's a core thing. It's not an elite thing. It's a fucking core thing. It's a steal thing. I don't know. What is my raid prep? Well, I was going to be setting up some builds and talking composition, which is what we did a little bit of, but not much. Wow, this would have been a hard map to figure out. Exactly which peak is the best. I can imagine a dev implemented this by just going in like the environment tool or whatever and just seeing. You could very easily figure out what the highest peak is. They're expecting you to have the Springer on this as well, surely. I mean, it's Icebreed Saga, so it's POF, so makes sense. Lornar's Pass, I would not be able to protect this. Apparently it's next to the God Spurs. I would guess it's north of the map, obviously, but... Corndy Daredevil's probably your favorite raid build by design, but it's not the best in open world. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for. I mean, maybe Condi, Dagger Condi. There's some Guild Wars 1 vibes that maybe I'd enjoy out of that. Shit, did I not move my... I didn't move it. Whoops. It's basically this peak here. Anyone inspired, something that kind of different. Like, I almost want my Generation 2 series to not be called best builds for open world PvE. I feel like that attracts and invites a lot of like criticism that I don't need. What I kind of want to call it is favorite builds. That's really what it is. They're the builds that are my favorite builds. The things that it's like, yeah, I really want to log in and I want to play Rev right now because I fucking love that build. I love running around and blowing things up with Invoke Torment. And I love using Mace 3, and I love jumping with Malix, and I love porting with Deathstrike. I love that. That feels like a fun build, you know? This is a fun build. I like merging with different pets and fucking people up with pulling them in and then axe 5ing. You know, that's kind of what it is. So, Have I already beaten it, or do they want me actually at the very top? I'm going to assume this is the awesome implementation and they want me at the top. Actually, I'm not. I'm not going to assume it. Alright, okay, maybe. Let's sky scale this one. What do you guys think they're going to do with this thing in Cantha? It's the Dragon Empire. Do you think they'll reveal that there's a bunch of sky scales? I was wondering about that. It's possible. Because what they can do is they can... Oh, shit. What they can do is they can say that, like, the whole Mist Connection, Aether Blades thing. This can't be right. I think it's that peak over there anyway. Hey, there's a wall though. They could do that because, like, the sky scales are from the mists, right? So they can say, you know, there's loads of them in Cantha, so mount rentals are really easy for it, so they can design that into all the maps, which is a little unfortunate. Is this really where we gotta go? I do quite like this on streaming. I'll just play the game and then you just randomly see other people doing the same goddamn thing. Let's see. If any of them manages to stand up there, I'll believe. But I don't know. Oh. Oh, wow. Good job, ArenaNet. I like that. That's very good. That is very good. Congratulations. Well done. That's such a weird peak to take people to as well. I mean, I'm even clipping into the terrain a little bit. That is cool. I like that. Very badass. Also, you can't help it when you're in a high map like this, right? Okay, next. Dredgehorn. They want us at Spearhead Bane. Oh my god, I thought I was going south. Have we lost too much altitude to make it now? No, we should be fine, right? Spearhead Bane. Cool, that gives you a real sense of how quick you move, right? Do you guys remember when the Griffin came out, someone did a YouTube video of exactly this flight path? You can get through the whole map. I've kind of messed up going under the bridge there. I don't want to flap. We lose height with a flap. Gonna have to. Getting over this ridge. I want to know why Drizzlewood looks so much softer than the rest of the game. What is that? Why does Drizzlewood look so much softer? Oh my god, it's the Granite Citadel. No way. Really? That's cool. What exactly would you like to know about raid compositions? Well, just the fundamental building blocks and which builds are executing them right now, because I'm like a year out of date with that. And then we started talking about a tool. But so what I kind of want to do is I kind of want to raid on the next stream, right? So what I'd like to do is get familiar with, like, okay, so what is this? And I don't mean like going for speed clear records and like too difficult, like middle of the road, actual quality of life, raid compositions. I'm assuming you take Alacrity Mirage. That's 10-man, right? So you'd only take one. So they alone would do what? All your Alacrity and all your might and some good damage. I mean, that seems pretty goddamn OP to me. It seems like a good time to get into raids because that's there and that's so OP. So then who are your main quickness givers in the current game? Do we run 2 FBs? I know in strike missions, people tend to love running 2 firebrands. And they're like hybrid Condi firebrands most of the time. That's what most people do. I'm assuming that's somewhat the same in strikes. I'm at the wrong goddamn peak, it's over here. But yeah, that's the information I don't know. So that's what I was kind of probing. A 1 Mirage isn't enough for the Alacrity. Yeah, do people run Inspiration Chronos? Like, that's what I mean. You know, like, you can obviously go to a place like Meta Battle and just read, you know, all the builds people are running. But how they actually... What is, like, the best middle-of-the-road, proper comfort squad to run? That's kind of the information I'm looking for. And then, you know, what reasonable swaps in and out of that are useful as well. In that way, what I can do is if I have that information, the next stream I can get online and I can say, okay, guys, I'm looking for A, B, C, D, E, F. Let's raid together, yeah? And we'll just push through. What I'd like to do is dedicate a couple of streams where I just go linearly through all the raids. and just get a bunch of insights, you know, and have fun with it. And divinations. Okay, let's go off to Timberline. There's a lot of Shiver Peak maps. Timberline, where my recent video was being recorded. Oh, this is interesting. It's in the sky. No, I'm reading that wrong. Okay. Oh, it's over the guild mission area. People usually run Condi Renegade. Rebels, Rising Rebels. Right, yeah, Condi Renegade's the other big Alacrity thing. So that covers the... So wait, it is Mirage. So it's one Mirage, one Renegade is what people like to do. That makes sense to me. I mean, Renegade's so easy to do Alacrity anyway. But it doesn't do the... I mean, Renegade's really easy. You don't just rely purely on one? I guess if people are splitting a bit. Dude, in Strikes, I play an Alacrity Renegade sometimes, and I just do 10-man all on my own. It's usually me on a Renegade and then Condi Firebrands. Dude, you can climb this? Wow, I've never done this. Whoa, this is very cool. Oh, I love it, ArenaNet. This is really cool. Don't you guys think? Because this is like kind of integration of new systems with old. This is like embracing the fact that mounts... Wow, you see the mini tech there? I thought that was a sky scale really far away, and it made me feel like I could climb very far. That was awesome. This is like saying it's okay that you can break these maps. Have fun with them. That's fantastic. Oh, almost clipped that there. I hope that they can mess with the draw distance and the way that fog works. If they can push the draw distance further out with the DirectX 11 stuff, so stuff like this doesn't look too ugly. You know, when you're high in the air flying around, and this happens constantly in the Path of Fire maps, you lose that like chain link fence feeling, you know? You know that there's nothing on the other side. You can see the boundaries of the map. That's such a bad experience. You don't want to have that. That's what I was having in Final Fantasy 2. I don't want that in End of Dragons. I don't want the whole fucking massive wall next to Augury Rock feeling. I hope they can deal with it. It all depends what they do with mounts. Next. Frost Scourge. Do they include Bitter Frost on this? I'll be very, very impressed. No, they don't. Yeah. They don't. I was going to say, that would really impress me. I guess they just don't want you, they don't want to lock it off too badly for people who need too many things. Frost Scourge is actually not that far, apparently. It's on the Rime Moraine. Actually, I'm confused. What am I reading wrong here? It's not at the Rime Moraine. Sorry, I know it's a bit boring, just look, it's watching me stare at a map. That's not the capped base. What the hell am I looking at on this image? Ah, here's what I'm looking at. Wow, that's quite nondescript. I would never have thought that that's the highest peak. Alacrity Mirage is only valuable on 3 bosses, while Diviner Renegade is strong on most. By the way, you're speaking to someone who believes that if the clear takes 2 minutes longer, but my chance of one-shotting it is 95%, I will go with the 3-minute longer clear than the clear that goes a bit quicker, but now I only have a 60% chance of beating it. Do you know what I mean? I'll always go the safer, cleaner build. I don't give a fuck what speed clearers are doing and stuff like that. I really don't. So whatever you guys are saying here, and I know that the Mirage build is very, very easy to run. But then again, so is Alacrity build as far as actually providing Alacrity. Wow. Yeah, this is a hell of a peak. Can you do this without a sky scale? Some of these seem a bit much for a Springer. Renegade has a lot more quality of life. Well, for the group, maybe, but for the individual, I mean, the Mirage is sitting there perma-dodging. I think the Mirage has more quality of life. Mirage is like, that's like a boon support DPS variant of like a Daredevil build. Do you know what I mean? Alright, we're going to shiver at this peak. 2 more. Oh, that's true. The Renegade does spam battle scars. That's true. They're still susceptible to getting bursted if they're not dodging the right mechanic. But I guess in some ways, you know, the dodgy Mirage build might line up badly and end up having that same thing. Alright, I get what you're saying. Okay, Biora. Okay, they didn't include Bitterfrost, but they did include Icebreed Saga. Well, hold on. See, that's weird, though, ArenaNet. Why did they do that? Just because I have Drizzlewood, it doesn't mean I have Biora. I know the patches came out near each other. But so if you're going to take that lid off, why not? Also, Drizzlewood is one of the maps. This isn't a Shiver Peak map. What? Oh, they're counting it as Shiver Peak? This counts as Shiver Peaks, does it? Alright. I get what you're saying. This peak looks very, very transparent on the map as being a high peak. Nice high frames here as well. These tend to tank. Because the Shiver came with it, the original emote. Oh, yeah, right. So the point is that they can guarantee you've got it because you don't even get the Shiver Plus appearing, right? Unless you've got both patches. See, now that's interesting too. Like, an achievement that actually requires 2 patches to interact with each other. I don't know, man. Getting rid of those gem gates would allow them to do so much more stuff. So much more meaningful cross-pollination across the game. Imagine they get rid of the gem gates. Think about that for a second. Just what that would mean for the kind of crazy shit they could do moving you around in End of Dragons. They could have an arc in End of Dragons where you go to the far Shiver Peaks. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why the story would do that, but, you know, there's just kind of a freedom there. They could have side quests that have you do that, you know? Any number of optional objectives that just really, whatever their heart's desire, they could do it anyway in instances. Yeah, but it's a lot clunkier. And it's not, doing it in instances, it doesn't sort of, you know, one of the big values of pushing everyone all over the place is the social ramifications of it and seeing people spread out. Wow, look at the lightning storm there. That's actually pretty goddamn cinematic, I have to say. I expected that to be a laggy, clustery mess. But that actually kind of worked out. Poor Icebreed Saga. You are the true black sheep of Guild Wars 2 at this point, I think. I think even the Perils of Living World Season 1. Look at the lighting, though. Oh, God. So good. How are my reflections set up right now? Have you guys been watching max reflections? You have. You've been watching top reflections, but you've only been watching low shadows. Okay, the final one is in Drizzlewood. So we can do a nice comfy tour. I won't use any of the pack race stations. We'll move through. If the season stories weren't locked behind gems and were available to all, what would you have them monetize in their stead? Well done. You've answered the real question, right? You've forced me out of happy bullshit nerdland where I can just pretend that things are possible. What would they monetize instead? Assuming that there is like a big revenue stream that's lost, what would I push them into? It's really hard to talk about topics of this nature because they obviously don't release how much they earn or where they earn and so on. You can only guess what kind of stuff keeps coming back to the gem store, blah, blah, blah. In an ideal world, I wouldn't have any cosmetics on the gem store at all. I mentioned in a recent video how much that's a misalignment of this game's philosophies. And, you know, getting rid of that. This is such a weird thing to even hear myself even just randomly say. But, like, the idea of a sub fee for Guild Wars 2. Alright, hey guys, I'm going to do a poll. I know how to do this now. I'm going to do a poll. Tab over to the stream. If they got rid of all cosmetics on the gem store, and all cosmetics that have previously been sold on the gem store are now available in-game, like through achievement points or, you know, new collections, whatever system you can imagine, right? There are no more cosmetics of any nature on the gem store. It's all earnable in-game. And all future developments will never have cosmetics on the gem store. It's all earnable in-game. And they will never sell Living World again, right? Would you pay a sub fee if that is the game that was born from? Would you pay a sub fee? So there's a poll there. I wonder what people would say there. I am not saying that's what ArenaNet should do. I am not saying I have any confidence in that whatsoever. But I am wondering what the world would say. So let's view the results. Damn it, Twitch, you don't have to open another thing. Would you pay a sub fee for that? Look, it's quite split. I had a feeling it would be split because I don't know what I think about that. There's actually 55% saying yes and 45% saying no right now. There's a 5% swing on that. Now, isn't that interesting? And of course, the other side is like, you're all veterans that have like, as veterans, you know very much what the issue I'm talking about is. And as veterans, you also probably came to this game because it has no sub fee, right? So there's like two big things going on there. The question is, what would complete noobs say? Oh, look, it's like 50-50. Look at that shit. It's going to 50-50. 51-49 right now. It ended at yes with 51%. By the way, there's over 100 votes there, so that is that proportion. That would be representative of 1,000 votes or even 10,000 votes. How crazy is that? That's a fun poll there. That's a proper split poll. So I don't know. I don't know what I think on that topic, but maybe that's what they would do. I don't know. I would gladly pay a sub. I mean, and also the real world, you don't live in a sub or no sub world. There's like you can do like what Grinding Gear Games does, where you tell everyone you're an indie company all day, and you have them buy like supporter packages and shit. You can do what Elder Scrolls Online does, where you can earn money in-game to pay your sub, but you have to put in loads of hours and no life. So it's not technically a sub fee game, but it kind of is a sub fee game. What other formats are there? You hate the ESO model? Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. I haven't played it, so I don't know. All I've heard is, you know, rumors. Teach me. Inform me of the things I have no clue about. Okay, this one's like over here. It's at a vista that I actually can't see on my map because ESO's never been there. Not enough content updates to warrant a sub. Well, okay, so here's a question to wonder. Has ArenaNet done enough content updates to warrant a sub? Think about Blizzard and WoW. Think about ESO. Think about FF14. Think about what Guild Wars has done. And it's hard with Guild Wars because you've got like a year like the year we just lived through. And then you've got years like Living World Season 1. And then you've got years like Season 3, POF, and Season 4. You know, it's hard with Guild Wars. There's kind of no superposition which is accurate to anything really, so. But have they? Solo is going to do this soon. It's a buy-to-play game with an optional premium battle pass. Yeah, they do that with the China launch, don't they? In China, you can be a VIP. That's the same thing, right? Should we just have the VIP skin? If all those perks came, but they added a VIP system, would you be happy? I'll say yes to that. All right, I mean, it's tricky, though, because their VIP system gave people legendaries, didn't it? If Guild Wars 2 had a Chinese-style VIP thing, but free Living World, and they stopped selling cosmetics on the gem store. Dude, I would do that. I would do that shit. Battle passes and VIP. Okay, you're talking about something else, but I'm just saying that the Chinese thing, I would make that trade. Who wouldn't make that trade? So what? Some people have... So... But... The VIP system is still letting you buy cosmetics, right? With real world money? If you're a regular player, Living World is free, though. Yeah, I mean, there's that as well. I mean, but it's such a problem long term. You know, the game is not growing. You think that they don't feel bad about the fact the game isn't growing? You want to go into work every day and think, oh, I'm working on a game that's sustaining, or it's only shrinking a little? Or do you want to go into work saying, oh, I'm working on a phenomena of gaming that everyone knows about and is getting bigger and bigger? What world do you want to be in? What world do your content creators want to be in? You think Wooden Potatoes would be as depressed as he is if his channel had been growing? There's a really interesting thread on my Reddit subreddit at the moment where people are talking about how I hit like 150k subs back when the game came out. And I'm still around 150k subs, like 6, 7, how many years? 8 years later now, right? Nearly 9 years. You think that doesn't feel bad, you know? And Living World's a part to blame. Anyway, we got it, right? Wait, shit. I got the Vista and then I left. I'm a dumbass. My God. We go back. Yeah, I actually looked at my channel. Before I did this new player guide thing, I looked at my channel not last week, like 3 weeks ago. And it said -5 subs. I was like actively posting and it said -5. I was like, holy shit. That really is a sign of the stagnation. That's because I had a big break and then I came back and then people are like, oh, I'm subbed to this guy, I'll get rid of it. But that was a real mind blow to me. I was like, man, I gotta sort something out. I also had a very angry comment on one of my Elder Scrolls videos earlier today, where someone said it's a shame WP has decided to double down on a dying game instead of diversifying and playing Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. And I said, it will come, man, I promise. Eventually it will come. But, you know, that really is the perception. Yeah, we got to climb back up. Those waterfalls are awesome, by the way. Oh, I still haven't done the Guild Wars 1 audio thing, by the way. Anyone want to chime in with that? If anyone did the Guild Wars 1 audio mod, please talk to me about it in chat. I want to hear about it. And whether it's worth going through it. Pretty nuts. Guild Wars 2 got 17k viewers on Twitch. Yeah, was that what the number was? The Icebrood Saga announcement. The Icebrood Saga announcement, 17k. Oh, it was a dire time. I wonder, what do you guys think the viewership will be? What do you think the viewership will be on this thing next week? I have to assume it will be bigger than Icebrood Saga because it's an expansion. And they've had a good roll into it as well here. Oh, it was 30k? Oh, that's you guys are guessing. 30k, 20, 50? Oh, if I'm wrong about the Icebrood Saga one, I don't know then. I don't know. I have to be honest. When I thought I might be wrong there because it did seem a little low. Even for it being a bad period of the game, that would be pretty bad. All right, there you go. Shiver at the Peaks. If I remember, my Path of Fire post show had 50k that were following after the stream was done. I don't know what the stream itself spiked at with the Path of Fire announcement. Do you guys remember what that was? I remember rolling in on 50 though. And yeah, when we did Heart of Thorns, me and Matt were streaming to 100,000. Yeah. So, but that didn't last long. They kind of left quite quick. HOT was a very big one. So Shiver Plus. It's a bit tacky talking about views. I don't really like doing it too much, but there you go. So that's us regularly shivering. Now let's try Shiver Plus. we get the little cold and the wind streams around us. Yeah, and you put all of this in context of the 700,000 viewers watching New World right now, right? Put that in context. A game with no history and no sense that it might even be good. 700,000 people are willing to watch that one. There are a lot of people willing to leave WoW, so it might be good. Yeah, I hope so. I wonder if I can make some stuff that will push it a bit more. I don't know. Are they involving any content creators in this one? Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Get a nice sound effect. If other people hear the sound effect, that's pretty good too. Man, I've got... Can I ask for some help? Here's Discord, right? The Spud Discord. If anyone knows how to get a good green screen, please let me know. Because I'd like to green screen and replace my low resolution list there with like some higher resolution ones. Higher frame rate ones. Plus, her outfits are pretty cool now. Like, instead of that weapon and Meteorologicus, what I could do is I could put Ipos on there. Like, let's take stock of some of her outfits. Stop doing that. Learn the new system. Learn. Get it in your goddamn brain. What's my Zealot set? That's pretty lame looking. Minstrel's pretty lame looking. Look at that though. That's basically what you're looking at in the picture, but dyed better. White Mage. And I could have her in /talk as well. What on earth? Why are there players here? Oh my god, there's an event going. And then finally, Black Mage. But I need a green screen set up. Ifrix's old one doesn't work anymore. So I don't know. Of course, Black Mage complements the Chocobo. Who I should make more yellow. Incandescent Chocobo. And Dawn. I guess it's just because we're in the shade. Let's go... I don't know. The entrance of Queensdale. Shame or Waypoint. Are you doing a clickbait Guild Wars 2 versus FF14? No. Eventually, I would like to do a core Guild Wars 2 versus a Realm Reborn review. I have no plans beyond that. Yeah. That looks good. I don't know how much you guys are getting on Twitch. Hopefully it looks good. The bitrate's not too bad. My little preview makes it look a bit rubbish, honestly. But hey. So they have it. That's it, I think. That's today's stream. Speaking of Final Fantasy 14, tomorrow I'm streaming it. And I think I'm going to play the Heavensward stuff. I think. I might not. I kind of really want to play it with Kerry in private, but she's already gone through all of it. It might be boring. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'll make some tangible progress. We'll move along. And you guys have all my first impressions now. And it won't be so like ranty and stuff. I'll start holding my tongue more, which is what I really should be doing. Because I don't really know what I'm talking about with that game. And we all know it. So I should just keep quiet. So yeah, that's going to be Final Fantasy 14. If you're a big fan of Stellaris, that playthrough is going to continue the day after as well. So yeah, just keep an eye out on the channel here, really. Thank you to any... Did we really get anyone sub? There were some gifted subs earlier. Ambrosia Blue, Jerry, Omega Flames, Blue Blob, who's been in game. Oh wow, that was it. That was the whole stream. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, click follow to know when I'm next up, or keep an eye on my Twitter, or keep an eye on Discord. Remember, the in-game guild is recruiting. You can get in from there. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Join the Spud Club if you got an eye for farm potatoes.
Oh my god, look, there's a new gifted sub right there. That was perfect timing. That was brilliant. Thanks, man.